Okay, everyone, we are back. Thank you for sticking with us because now we have a real treat for you. Miss Valerie Francis. Valerie is a member of our Proctor's Principles group, and she's also been studying with Bob Proctor's materials for over a decade as of this year. And she's another really heart-centered soul that's here to share with you the power of a strong, focused, and heart-centered goal. So here she is. Hello, Valerie. How are you?
I am very well, Tommy. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. So,
Anytime.
great. So, it's no secret that you have a really inspiring story. Could you start off by sharing a little bit about kind of who you are and your journey of studying through Bob's materials and how that brought you to making the decision to join us here inside the Proctor's Principles community?
I'm in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. I am a writer and I'm a literary editor, and I'm also in my spare time a powerlifter. I'm also a single mom. So it all started many years ago in 2015, when I was sort of sitting there, just me and two little kids, thinking that this can't be it. There has to be
Yeah.
something more than this. And somehow or other, I stumbled upon Bob. I saw him in The Secret, and it took a lot for me to invest in the first seminar, I have to say, because it was a lot of money for me at the time as a single parent with two itty bitty little kids. And I just thought, I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose here. So I just started that way. And I remember, I don't know if it was the first seminar I took with him, but it was one of the very first that I took with him. At one point, he said, "Are you willing to step out and bet on yourself?" And I thought, oh, oh, is that what we're doing here?
Mhm.
Because I can do that. I can do that. I'm a safe bet. I have more confidence in me than in the job I had at the time for that being around for the time I needed. So I thought, oh, I can step out and bet on myself, and that's how I'm still here.
Yeah. Well, we're so glad that you are, and so good. Can you talk a little bit about the goals that you've been working on in here in Proctor's Principles and some of the amazing stuff that you've been doing?
Well, the first I've been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm one of the beta group, and I set a goal. It was an income goal, and I can't remember how long it took me. Not very long, just a couple of months to hit my first income goal. And I thought to myself then, well, I was really happy that I hit the goal, but then the next thought I had was I should have created a bigger goal.
As we
you know,
do.
Bob would always do that slide, with the X's. You're here and you want to go here, and you hit there and you think, damn, I could have gone here. I had that sort of moment. So, in my professional life, I'm like I said, I'm a writer and literary editor. I'm already a best-selling author, but now I want number one on the New York Times list. So that's where I'm hitting now. I'm an Amazon best-selling author twice. Now I'm going for the New York Times. So that's one professional goal. I also have an editing business helping people learn how to write novels, and I want that to be $1 million business, and it will be. That's what I'm shooting for there. In powerlifting, now with my career, the feedback loop is long. Everything is measured in months and years there, because it takes a while to write a book and bring it to market and yada yada. In powerlifting, the feedback loop is measured in seconds and fractions of seconds. So it's a lot of fun to use powerlifting as a way to study mindset. I started when I was 52. I just turned 55. And I remember Corey asked me one time, what made you do it? Because it's really out of the box for me. And I just knew that if I didn't try it, it would be a regret. And I made a promise to myself when I was sitting there with two little itty bitty kids that when I get to the end of the road, whenever that is, hopefully many, many years from now, I'm not going to have any regrets. I'm not going to sit there and say, I wish I had. And I knew that if I didn't step out and bet on myself in terms of powerlifting, I was going to regret it, because powerlifting's a lot of fun, but you have to wear this god awful singlet where there's no hiding, right?
Mhm.
And then you put this big belt on in the middle. So it's not a muffin top you get, it's a muffin top and bottom. It's hell. And then you stand up on a platform in front of everyone and make funny faces while you're lifting really, really heavy weight. But something in me told me you gotta try it. You gotta see if you've got it in you. So my first competition, I won gold, and I qualified for regionals. I did that, and I got a silver. And in June, this past June, I did provincials, and I won gold. I got two athletic records. I'm
Wow.
the arts kid. When we talked about self-image, that's already come up. I'm the arts kid. I was always told that, I'm the academic one, I'm the artistic one, my sister's the athletic one. Well, I like to remind my sister that I now have two athletic records. She's super supportive, so she just laughs along with me. But I have I can't believe it. I'm actually in the record books as
Wow.
an athlete. So talk about self-image, man. Don't let anyone ever tell you what you're capable of or who you are,
Yeah.
because they don't know you. You know you, and you are capable of anything you put your mind to. Absolutely anything. So now I'm training for nationals. That comes
Mhm.
up in March,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I'm going for a record there too.
Well, we have no doubt that you're going to set one. That's so good, so inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. What would you say has been kind of the most valuable aspects of being with us here that you haven't found anywhere else? Is there like a magic or secret sauce for you that you can identify?
It's the community. I have to say it's the community. I show up to these calls on Tuesday because it feels like I'm plugging in, right? I'm plugging into the socket and I'm getting my dose of positive juju that'll carry me through the week. And, just a real quick, again, powerlifting story. This past summer, I had the opportunity to train with three um, three women who not only are multiple world champions, but they have multiple world records. They actually came into my session, and my coach pulled me aside and said, "Go over with them, Valerie." Now that's super intimidating because these women don't fool around, but they're also women who they understand sports psychology, which is all mindset. So listening to how they spoke to each other, how they spoke to themselves, how they prepared themselves when they got under the bar for a heavy lift, how they spoke to me, the energy was different. They were operating on a much higher frequency than I was used to. And I had some of the best training sessions I've ever had. I was frightened half to death, but I just did it. I didn't have time to dither. I just had to make it happen. So they went away, and I start working out with my regular group of women who are lovely women, but they're operating on a lower frequency. And I really felt like I came crashing down because, and none of them would ever say, Valerie, you can't lift that. No, no, that's not how they roll. But they will come in and talk about, oh, they had a hard day at work, or their back hurts, or their knee hurts, or the room's too cold or too hot, or the weights are too heavy or not heavy enough. That kind of, I'll say mindless or maybe thoughtless chatter, because they're not actually thinking about what they're saying. It's sort of habitual, low level, negative, vibey stuff that wasn't happening with the world champions. It just was not there. It did not exist. And it was a real lesson for me in community and how you perform when you're around people who are making it happen, and how you perform around people who are not making it happen. Because there were a couple of lifts that I should have had, and I didn't get them. And I had to, my coach came up to me after and said, "Oh, I'll lower your numbers." And I said, "No, no, 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 coach." And my coach is a 5-time world champion himself. I said, "No, we don't lower the numbers to match the mindset. We raise the mindset to match the numbers." I said, "Don't you
Yes.
dare lower my numbers,
Mm-mm.
because I can do them. I know I can." But it was a real immediate lesson in, when you're around better, you do better. And that's why I keep showing up to Proctor's Principles every week, because I'm around better, and the people who are in this community are doing better. We're all stepping out and betting on ourselves. We're all out of our comfort zone and having to go through that terror barrier.
Yeah.
It, and everyone gets it. Like, no one has to apologize for saying, oh, I'm really scared to go through this terror barrier, because we get it. Don't apologize. We're here. We got you. Step out, take the bet. And if it works, we're going to applaud you. If it didn't work, we're also going to applaud you. You know why? Because it took a lot of guts to step out. You learned something from that quote unquote failure. To me, you only fail if you quit, if you give up on something that you really, really want. Other
Yeah.
than that, you just tried something that didn't work. So that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh, thank you for that. What advice would you give to someone here who's considering maybe joining Proctor's Principles or finding a community like this? But also, like, just what advice do you have in general for people, independent of whether they're going to join us or not? Like, what one thing would you like to leave people with today so they can go out and start kicking some butt and taking some names like you do, Valerie?
I'm actually going to quote Bob, because it's and I've said this to Brian many times. It's a quote that he said in one of his seminars that is in my mind all of the time. And he said, if you're going to step out and bet on yourself, if you're going to go after the thing you really want, it takes a respectable degree of mental strength. And it does. So just know that this is not for everybody. Most people aren't doing this. I saw, my sister's a marathoner, and in one of the marathon groups, it said, how long does it take an average person to finish a marathon? And the answer was, the average person doesn't run a marathon. Mm-hmm. So we're running marathons here. The average person is not here. You're already doing it just by showing up here. But you can't do it alone. It's really hard to do it alone. Find a community. If it's Proctor's Principles, that's great. If it's another community, that's great. But you need to have somebody or something that you can tether to, that you can plug into and get your positive juju to carry you through the times when you try something and it didn't work out, or when your motivation is low, or whatever it is.
Yep. So true. So true, Valerie. Thank you so much for being here and sharing a little bit of your story. It's so inspiring. Really, really appreciate you, Valerie, and can't wait to see that record in March.
You're very welcome, Tommy. And you'll hear about it. Everyone will hear about it. I will be writing it in the sky if I get this national record. I am telling you. When? You're absolutely right. And see, that's what community does. You just caught me on something, and you gently reminded me I had an if, and it's a when.
That's what we do. Yep. Yeah, because you can.
That's how we roll.
You hear that. You don't necessarily always hear that for yourself. You need someone else who can hear it in you. So that's, yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Valerie, thank you so much. She's so inspiring. Let's give Valerie a big hand. Show her some love in the chat. So good. Okay. All right. We have another quick treat for you now. You might need to get your tissue box handy, okay? Because a lot of people say that this short video here makes them cry. This is our trailer for Proctor's Principles, and we're proud to say, like Brian said, it recently won some awards, as well as the program itself has won an award. And as far as we know, it's the only program of its nature that's ever won a Telly Award. So super cool. So we're going to just play this video really quick, and it really captures the essence of transformation that we are up to here together. So you will enjoy this. It's not very long. Have a look.
What would happen in your life if you were the best version of you every single day?
All the great leaders, all down through history, have been in complete and unanimous agreement that you and I become what we think about.
In a universe where destiny intertwines with the power of belief.
What I'm talking about is moving your mind into a higher vibration, developing a higher consciousness, and you can literally attract all the good that you want.
I've always said I think I live a charmed life, and that really is because I had Bob Proctor as a father. I got to learn from him in ways that you don't learn from a book. I got it firsthand from somebody who was really one of the founders in the business.
We're all working with one power, one law. It's attraction. The secret is the law of attraction.
Joining us now is Bob Proctor, New York Times best-selling author, lecturer, and counselor. He's been described as preaching the gospel of positive thinking and maximizing human potential.
Growing up, my father didn't just teach me, he programmed my mind for success.
Keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can.
If you can see it, you can do it. The beautiful truth is you can do anything. If you can see it here, you can hold it here.
My father instilled in me the belief that anything is possible if you set your mind to it. And it's now my mission to share what I know with you.
Experience the extraordinary story of a man whose life was sculpted by the wisdom of a legend.
Dad always said to me, he says, Brian, you can be, do, or have anything you want in this world. And this program is all about that. It's about being, doing, and having more. Just more, whatever that is for you, whatever's important for you.
What kind of a house do you want to live in? What kind of a business do you want to have? What do you really want?
I feel that this program really carries on the message of what my father was about, what he taught. It's important to me to deliver that same message, but in my way. I certainly will never feel like I can be like my father. I will not fill his shoes by any means. But I think I can certainly share what I've learned from him, how it's affected me. And I think by doing that, I can show you how to live a better life.
If you're not getting the results you want, your way obviously isn't working. Why don't you try ours?
We have to take ownership of what's going on in our life. If we're not living the life we want to live, if we're stuck, if we're in a place that we don't want to be, it's up to us to change it. Nobody else is going to do it for us.
Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
It's time to create the life you've always dreamed of.
I'm Brian Proctor. This is Proctor's Principles. I do know how fortunate I am to call Bob Proctor my father. This is my way of sharing that privilege with you.
If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.